Well, first of all, I think it's important on the show as traders that we inject some of our guidelines on trading. And so I urged everyone last week, if you didn't have a position in it, to wait until earnings, because I don't ever buy a new position right before earnings, because just look what happened. I mean, last night the stock was trading down at, 311. And I think what's been pretty interesting is I bought it last week at 340, and I think I just saw the last print at 341. So I would be a buyer here if I didn't own it. And I think that you have to understand these are still the early days of cryptocurrency. And for the viewers that don't know, Brian Armstrong, which I've talked about before, I'm a really big fan. He was one of the first engineers to build the Airbnb platform. And he left in 2012 Airbnb to start what today is Coinbase. So outside of the Winklevoss brothers, I feel like Brian Armstrong has been in Bitcoin, in the crypto markets since day one. And I think that this company will continue to innovate. Some quick financials. The market didn't like that they missed revenues. They came in net revenues of $1.2 billion. And I think this myopic obsession over quarterly earnings is a good example here. When you take a step back and look year over year, their revenues are up threefold year over year. And as you all are talking about Rivian with no revenues, much less income, their net income, which I think came in around $400 million this quarter, is up fivefold year over year. So I think the best days are ahead of it. It's a very volatile stock. I often sell calls against the position just because you can capture a lot of premium. But I think it's a really good sign that it hit 311 last night, and it's over 340 today. So I think there's a lot of people coming in here and going long Brian Armstrong.
You can. I just want to bring everybody up to date again. The indicated price now down to 105 for Rivian as we do await the first trade. I want to get your reaction, Bryn, if I could, to something Cramer said this morning. Or he said in his investment club, he took these guys out to the woodshed, really. I mean, Coinbase, the arrogance of these guys, says Cramer, half dozen references to what a great quarter it was when it was a huge miss. They must think we all just fell off of a turnip truck. They'll be bailed out by the rise of Ethereum and Bitcoin, but their arrogance is shocking and, frankly, ill-advised. I know you reference the company and the leadership. What do you make of those comments from Jim Cramer?
Well, Brian Armstrong has never been shy in the first place. So I think what Jim is saying is very, very spot on. As a CEO, you have to have humility. But I think, though, if you're just saying, what did the analysts expect versus what happened? As I just said, the revenues were up threefold year over year. That's incredible. And so I think Brian's taking a much longer perspective. And so I think Jim gives really good advice. I hope that Brian's listening to him in terms of have some humility. And I also think, though, that where Brian also, I hope he takes, the SEC conversations off of Twitter and doesn't try to do an Elon Musk and really works with the regulators, because Coinbase has the opportunity to really be the on-ramp to the highly regulated space that I think is coming in cryptocurrency. And so we would hope, Brian has some humility. At the same time, I do think that the analysts are very myopic on these, quarterly revenue numbers. That I just think people will end up, at the end of the day, will shake them off. And I think you already see that in the price today, how much it's rebounded since last night.
Appreciate you coming on, giving more insight for our viewers. That's Bryn Talkington. She'll be back on the show.